Angelina Jolie is back, once again, detailing her emotionally difficult divorce with Brad Pitt, and now she's declaring $33,000? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and this is the divorce that will never end. For those of you who have been watching this channel for a while, Christopher Melcher usually joins us on this topic. He was unable to today, but I still wanted to give you this update. I got a couple texts from him to sort of chime in and help me in reporting this to you. But for those of you just who are unaware and haven't seen the previous, this divorce has been going on forever. Now, I don't know what happened on the plane. I don't know what happened, but all I know is it's been so long. For the sake of the kids, move on. And then on top of that, she sold his winery to a competitor of his, which was clearly to F with him. And now she's trying to make an excuse for why she sold the winery to the competitor. This, I think it was Stoli or some other competing alcohol brand, is now Brad Pitt's partner, which makes no sense. It's like you just wanted more drama, Angelina. If you wanted it to end, find a different buyer, work with Brad and get a deal. But no, it's just every step of the way, from my purview, and Christopher's, who's an expert celebrity divorce lawyer, has dealt with a lot of these cases, his instincts as well. She's just stalling, delaying, and causing him revenge, endless amounts of revenge, which sadly can happen a lot in divorce, as it does. So she's clearly mad. She's mad. Some of you are her side, whatever. I'm not really either side, to be honest, but I will say, based on how I've seen this in the press, Brad's been handling it better. For the sake of the kids, Brad's been handling it better because Angelina's constantly there trashing their father. Now the kids are trying. Anyway, but let's go through the latest. So on Monday, she filed a court docs for the never-ending court battle brought by Pitt. He sued the actress after she sold her stake in the French winery, which was purchased during their marriage without his approval, to a company named Stoli. Jolie denies she needed Pitt's approval to sell her shares. This is where it all comes down to. Pitt recently asked that Jolie produce a series of private emails she exchanged with her team as part of the standard discovery process where parties exchange documents in litigation. Jolie opposed the request, claiming the messages are covered by attorney-client privilege and she doesn't have to turn them over. Wonder why you're so protective to turn them over. Jolie demanded Pitt pay her $33,000 to cover her legal fees in defending the motion. Jolie thought through counsel repeatedly asked Pitt to withdraw the motion. She even warned him numerous times that if the court denied Pitt's motion, Jolie would ask the court to order him to pay attorney's fees opposing the motion. The court documents read, Pitt still refused to withdraw it. Jolie then thus requested the court order Pitt to reimburse her for the substantial attorney's fees she would be forced to incur. In her filing, Jolie wrote, "The events leading to my need to separate from my ex-husband were emotionally difficult for me and our children. Upon filing for divorce, I left him control and full residency of our family homes in Los Angeles and Miravalle without compensation. She didn't want any compensation, which I hoped would make him calmer in his dealings with me after a difficult and traumatic period. To this day, the children and I have never again set foot on the property, given its connection to the painful events leading to the divorce." I was on the airplane. Anyway, the Maria star said, "Post-separation, I immediately began to look for a new house for me and our children, initially renting a home while looking for a more stable solution." An actress continued, "Because I wanted to ensure that Brad remained an important part in our children's lives, I looked to buy a property near his home. At the time, my savings were tied up in Miravalle. I had not asked Brad for alimony or any other financial support. I was also concerned about the health of our children. And so for approximately 2 years, I declined work so I could focus my attention on caring for our children and their recovery." Must be nice. Not a lot of us can afford to do that. "I was therefore not in a position to buy outright a home for our children in Los Angeles." Let me just rewind. She couldn't buy the house in full. It's like, oh no. Oh, what? You couldn't buy the house in full for your 10 kids? "I asked Brad to loan me the money to buy a home, which he agreed to do with interest." And now she's mad because he did it with interest, even though it's clearly like, hello, yeah, you can get a loan anywhere else. I'm sure he gave her a better deal than the bank. Otherwise, why would she have done it with him and not the bank? In her declaration, Jolie explained that in early 2017, she had on and again, off again talks with Pitt about him buying out her interest in Miravalle. Why didn't you just do that? Why didn't you just do that? Those discussions were always difficult for me due to my deep emotional ties to our family home there and how our relationship ended. Miravalle was one of the first major investments we made together, and it was a focal point in our family life. We were married there. I spent part of my pregnancy there, and I brought our twin children home there from the hospital. To have such a sudden break from my home and the memories has been hard. It was especially difficult for the children to have their lives so disrupted. Like, I'm not denying any of that, but dude, that doesn't explain why you couldn't just sell it to him and why you sold it to his competitor to clearly make it harder on him and then make the investment bad for both of you. To me, it's hard to not read this as the reality of she's incredibly bitter and angry and wants revenge still to this day. And look, Brad Pitt may have done something dumb, and I can't excuse any of that. I'm not trying to, but my God, for the sake of the kids, enough already. Now, people would say, well, Brad Pitt started this, yada, yada. No, Jolie started this when she made it impossible for him to continue the business that he was supposed to have, and that they share duty on for her to sell those shares to his competitor to make everything more complicated is why he's suing. Like, she could have avoided all of this by just selling it to him or finding a different buyer that wasn't his competitor. The whole thing is just a mess, and it is her fault. It is her fault. I don't fault him for wanting to control this, and we're going to get to his comment on that, on why he's still doing it too. Anyway, so then she, in 2021, she brought up alleged DV in their divorce case. She said Pitt then backed out of the deal. She said Pitt proposed that she sign an NDA that would cover personal and business matters. There was no practical need for the NDA, as I had not pressed charges or spoken out about the events that led to our divorce. In fact, for the previous 5 years, I've never publicly said a word about his actions, the entertainer added. As the mother of our children, as well as an advocate for victims of violence around the world, I found it extremely painful. Interesting. Although she kind of didn't, though. When she went to court, she talked about the plane incident. She tried to put it all out there. There's a lot. You can go back and see our stories with Mr. Melcher. Although I'd always voluntarily kept Brad's actions confidential for the health of our family and had no plans to ever publicly disclose the facts, I could not agree to this coercive demand. She said she rejected the NDA and the deal fell apart. The actress claims she told Pitt she was selling to Stoli. Pitt's team previously disputed Jolie's characterization of these events. Of course, they're both saying that. Jolie's lawyer says Brad Pitt's motivation without any legal basis and the latest manifestation is as efforts to control Angelina have here by seeking to invade her attorney-client privilege with her legal team. We expect the court to see right through it and deny this motion. So look, that's where it is. That's where we stand. Now she's, of course, these emails are coming in her new motion. She adamantly opposes the request for certain emails. Her lawyer asked the court to deny the motion. Her attorney-client privilege is bedrock of America. Who knows if it even is? This is giving me serious vibes of the Blake and Justin case. It just never the judges yet to rule. But yeah, this whole idea that, look, of course she had to focus on the kids. I get it. It sounds like you poisoned the kids about Brad. Personally, I don't know. I can't pick a side, but all I know is there's his father, and it doesn't sound like you haven't shared it. I don't know why you wouldn't have shared it or called the police. It sounds like you would have. If it was really as bad as you're claiming, as an advocate, how could you sit here, let them hate him, do all this drama, and not call the police on him? I mean, I think you did. I think she did with that plane incident, and then it went through a whole thing, and they found nothing. They found nothing. He was never charged with anything. That's the problem here. And I just don't believe for a second as she's painting, I've held on to all the secrets of all the problems. She's like doing this. In my opinion, she would have came out with it if it was criminal. If he hurt the kids and she had proof of it and brought more evidence out and said it all, I don't believe she'd hold on to that. Why would any mom do that? Especially someone who's been so vocal in protecting her kids and supporting victims. It just doesn't make sense. It sounds like she's trying to make a bigger deal, and she should just sign the NDA. If she was never going to say it, fine. Why not sign an NDA for the sake of the family, for the sake of moving on? Just do it. Instead, it's now become this big mess, everything else. I want to share one more clip, which is John Voight. Her father was asked about this.
I wish that would be over, that stuff. I wish they'd find a way to make peace. Both, I think the kids need some stability. I love the kids, and I love my daughter. And I want Brad to step up to, what he has to do and end this nonsense.
Now, Brad's response to why we don't end this nonsense, and I kind of agree with him. Sources close to the Brad Pitt say that Pitt is sticking to his guns in order to ultimately put more money in his kids' pockets, which makes sense. This whole winery is going to do more for the kids in the long run which I imagine he wants to leave and help with the kids. Having more of an inheritance would actually help them more if that's actually what it is. And that would be pretty touching if that's, even after they've disowned him, he does leave it to them as sort of the prize. Why are we fighting this? Why are we fighting this? Why not make that part of the agreement then, Angelina? That I could understand. I'll sign the NDA, but let's make sure, when you're gone, it's going to the kids. Not either of us. It's going to kids. Spread it, whatever. Figure out a way to then maybe I could see an argument. But all this is such a damn mess. Such a mess. And of course, it's all over the press. She has such an aggressive PR team that makes sure to go out there. It's almost like she enjoys it. This moment of it's time to lash out at Brad again. Let's do it again. And I'm just over it. I'm over it. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. Am I the only one? I'm still going to keep you updated because I want to see where this goes. But where do you stand in this divorce? I want to hear your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all alerts and smash that like. Leave your comments down below. Who are you supporting? Are you supporting both? Do you just not care, but you're still weirdly invested? Let me know down below and stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.